and welcome to the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education regular meeting for July 10th, 2019. Has this meeting been properly noticed? Would you please call the roll?
Carlin?
Here.
Evans?
Here.
Garner?
Here.
Herzog?
Here.
Olmsted?
Here.
Peschel?
Here.
Salachi?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to invite two brothers who are going to join us this evening for the purpose of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Jeremy Splitgerber and brother Zachary Splitgerber.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're very happy that you boys joined us tonight. I know that Jeremy is going into the third grade at Lakeside Elementary School. I appreciate your coming tonight. And your brother Zach is going to be in the 7th grade at Alps. So thank you very much for coming. We have a Boy Scout and a Cub Scout, and we're delighted that you came because it's so important that we take time to honor our country at all of our meetings. So thank you very much, boys. And thank you, Mom, for bringing the boys. Okay, have a good night.
Thank you.
The board president's report. It's been a light schedule for the board president over the last week or so. So the only thing I would share tonight is a reminder that I received at Rotary today that the back to school fair is scheduled for August 15th. Sorry.
We're not ready yet.
For those who are thinking ahead, and those who have been invited to participate in that. I know that one of the items that will be shared with those who participate in the back to school fair will be a certificate at the St. Vincent store. And in the past, those certificates have not been honored on days when there was a 50% off sale, but I'm here to tell you tonight that they will be honored on the 50% off days. So if you are one of those lucky recipients, you may redeem that at any time at the St. Vincent store during their regular hours. So thank you. And with that, we'll turn to the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Herzog. I would have to quite honestly say, given that last week was this 4th of July week, we don't have a lot to report on this time, so it's going to be a little bit lighter than normal, but I'm going to go ahead and get started right away with Lakeside Elementary School. So students and staff at Lakeside Elementary School worked hard this past school year to improve their understanding of text types and purposes. By the end of the school year, this work showed through in their 80% level of student growth and understanding. Photos shown here display the ways classrooms visually represented their learning. Over at Webster Stanley, they were thrilled to have as neighbors working in collaboration with the school through the Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods Incorporated to clean up the school gardens and beautify the neighborhood. The newly formed group is called the Menominee North Neighborhood Association, and everyone is thankful for this newly formed partnership that will keep the school grounds looking beautiful. Thanks to the sponsorship of the Oshkosh Rotary Oshkosh Chamber, Mercy Ascension Foundation, and the OASD, 23 area high school students were able to start a CNA summer class on Monday. Once the class has been completed, students will be eligible to take their certification test and then start positions in that area. And then lastly, I continue to be focused within the community. To be quite candid with you, after our last school board meeting, I was out for a few days at the AERA Summer Leadership Meeting in Washington, D.C. And then from there, I was off last week, actually finalizing moving my spouse up here to Oshkosh, for which I'm extremely happy about. And I'm very pleased to say that the pod has been emptied, although all the boxes are in the garage right now. It's completely empty. And that process is concluded. And so that's pretty much taken all of last week. And then earlier this week, we had a wonderful opportunity to finalize our interviews from our elementary school for the principal position, of which I'll have the pleasure of introducing to you later tonight. So without further ado, I'll turn that back over to you, Dr. Herzog.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Cartwright. Are there any other district administrator supplemental reports tonight?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do we have any committee reports from board members to share?
Yes.
And Mr. Evans, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes. The Energy Committee met on Monday, June 17th. Our first update was on the Energy Club at Oshkosh West High School. It currently is active with 12 members who are looking forward to project assignments. A few companies in the community have met with the club, including Hoffmeister, to talk about their outreach, and Sadoff Iron and Metal taught the group about metal recycling. The club is interested in expanding these partnerships. We talked about the status of a memo to staff regarding heating and cooling season and how to maximize room temperature efficiency. The committee discussed how best to communicate to building users that the district pays attention to energy use and conservation both after and during school hours. Jim Fox will be requesting 15 to 20 minutes of time on the administrative agenda this fall to communicate the importance of these practices. A suggestion is made to have a high-level presentation and to be brief and include 3 actual steps for each school. These steps could include don't place items on the heating and cooling units, turn off lights, close doors. Another suggestion is made to have students in an energy club work on a marketing program which could be shown at schools around the district. We also had the same energy benchmarking study that was presented to our board at the last meeting. Just to bring the Energy Committee up to date on that, we are well above the 50% range thanks to Act 32 energy incentives, and they have made energy savings even greater. Our next scheduled meeting is September 23rd at 8:30 in the morning, and that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Does anyone else have a committee report tonight? Okay, then moving on, there was no one who signed up either for the non-agenda related public forum or for the agenda related public forum, so we can move into our first and only workshop tonight, which is goals, division priorities, and market differentiators for our strategic plan. It looks like we have the entire executive team here on board to assist with this.
If I may, Dr. Herzog, this is going to be a different type of presentation, as I'm going to be interjecting on some of these presentations to the board tonight.
Excellent.
We are short-staffed. Actually, a few of our executive team members that would typically be leading this off. So we're very proud to bring to you tonight the next step in the creation of the strategic plan. And what you're going to find are a few key things as we go through with this presentation. One of the things I want to make sure that we let you know is how did we do this? Was going back and looking at the community results, those surveys for both public forums, as well as the input that the board had provided when you were going through your visioning session and your mission session, and all of that combined together. So it's through the combination of all of that input that how we were able to come up with this for board for you to review and to comment, and if there's any revisions that you would like for us to look at, we can definitely do that. One of the other things that you will find is that in addition to that, I heard loud and clear direction from the board where you were like, we want something to fit onto one page and make it simple. So we have definitely accomplished that for you now, albeit it's a legal size piece of paper. But it has been accomplished. And you're going to find a few things in here that maybe are a little bit different than what you're accustomed to in the past. And as we go through the presentation, we'll be sure to explain what those are and why. And so without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with Dr. Jones.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, board, and good evening, Oshkosh. We are now recapping and starting our third strategic plan. So Strategic Plan 3.0 is what we're going to be presenting to you tonight. And again, some of our colleagues are either at conferences or away, so we have a partial exec team, but all of us were very diligent in working on this presentation. So no good vision or strategic plan can be developed unless we have a foundation. And that foundation was provided by you and we'd like to reintroduce it to the community as well. Last month on June 12th, the board created their values, vision, mission, and guiding principles. The core values are engaged students and staff, integrity, having honesty and respect, especially in finances as well, excellence, being creative, visionary, and learning, responsive improvement, being rigorous and having rapid intervention, safe learning and working environment, and a collaborative culture. The board's vision statement is, we will be the leader in education through innovation while focusing on the whole child. The mission statement the board has adopted is, we will enrich our community by supporting our students to lead creative and empowered lives. And lastly, the guiding principle is students first. So that's the foundation that we're building off of. That's very important. And that leads us to our next part. So Dr. Cartwright.
So this is something that is definitely new for the Oshkosh Area School District and possibly the regions around here. And these are called market differentiators. Market differentiators basically are, why Oshkosh? Why does our community believe in our school system? Why do our parents want to come to our school system? Why are people maybe from outside of our school system wanting to come into our school system? So for each of the market differentiators, what you're going to notate is that a lot of them are aligned to some of those core values that you had set for us previously. And so our differentiators, now I want to make sure I'm very clear, this is not necessarily where we are right now, but this is what we are aspiring to be over the course of the next 5 years. So as we present information out, or as we go in and we say, okay, this is an accomplishment, we're gonna have like a running document for each one of these bullet points that will be attached to, and that becomes part of your branding, part of your communication efforts, part of your public relations. And so within here, we have prepared for you 5 different market differentiators. The first one being that we're nationally recognized for instructional and technology integration excellence. We're really far along when it comes to technology. We just want to make sure that we're doing it on both sides, and that in order to do that, we know that we have to be innovative, that we have to be progressive, and we have to take a very strategic approach to getting there. Preparing students to be globally college, career, community, and future ready. So we're used to college, career, community ready, the 3 C's. In this case, we're transitioning it a little bit. The key words on this are globally, because we want to think outside of just here in Oshkosh, outside Wisconsin, outside of that, future ready. As we look right now within the industries that's happening around us, artificial intelligence is happening at a rapid pace. We know that the way in which knowledge is being accumulated is at the fastest rate for which has ever been known within the human race, or the humankind, as you might say. So being able to do that, our goal is to ensure that we're preparing our students to be able to be college, career, community, and that global environment, and being future ready. So we're preparing them with the skills that's necessary to adapt to the skills that are coming in the future. Nationally recognized for focusing on the whole child through an equity lens. This is work that, as you know, we've been working on this whole entire past year, and it's critically important that we're taking care of the whole child, because we know in education nowadays we're about a lot more than just academics. The social emotional learning of students is critical, and in addition to that, by ensuring that we're taking care of that whole child through an equity lens, it's ensuring that we're giving each child what is necessary for that child to be successful, and it's going to be different from child to child to child, dependent upon where they are, where they're coming from, and what assets they're bringing to the table as well. The next one is recognized for excellence in systems approaches to enhancing instruction, learning, and operations. So in other words, as we go forward with this, we're making sure we're being very strategic, we're being very thoughtful, that we're really being purposeful in our approaches in order to get these accomplished. Our highest quality education, programs of choice, and extracurricular. We know how important it is for our students, extracurricular opportunities, we know how important it is for our students to be able to go to a school and have many other opportunities. We recognize that oftentimes those extracurricular activities or a program of focus maybe at a particular school is why many of our students enjoy coming to school. So it's the why that motivates them to ensure that they get, they remain engaged within the school, and ensure our responsibility to ensure that we're given the highest quality that we can for all three components of that. So these are the market differentiators. These are the things that make Oshkosh Area School District better than anyone else in Wisconsin, or, as we say when we're taking a look back, when we're saying that we're going to be the leader in education, these are the things that are going to help drive us towards that.
All right, so our executive team is proposing that our strategic plan 3.0 be centered around these 5 goals. And for those of you who are familiar with strategic plans 1.0 and 2.0, the language is a little bit different. So what we're now calling our goals were previously known as our priorities. And as you'll see on the next slide, what we're now calling our divisional priorities were previously our goals. So hopefully it's not too confusing as we go forward. Like I said, for those of you who are familiar with the old structure. As Dr. Cartwright mentioned, the executive team looked at information from the board as well as the community survey and the focus groups to really come up with these 5 areas of focus. So the first is to improve student learning for all to ensure college, career, and community ready. The second is operationally efficient. The third is dedicated and high-performing team members. The fourth is safe learning and working environment. And the fifth is sustain and strengthen community engagement. Now, each of these funnels down into our divisional priorities, which goes into much more detail about what is kind of encompassed within each of these. So Linda's going to go over the first of those.
So this is where you would usually see my colleague Julie Conrad in front of you talking for sure about students, or our students, being college, career, and community ready. The whole premise of students first, this is really huge here because we are looking to narrow our opportunity gaps, really providing professional development through that equity lens, supporting all of our students. Creating a future ready, there's that word future again, school system just being very innovative and providing opportunities. We're also looking to accelerate our student learning, the performance, and the growth of our students. And then we're looking to integrate SEL, or social emotional learning, with life and career skills also to meet the needs of the whole child. So when we look at what we're doing to ensure that they're college, career, and community ready, you've heard Julie and Kim multiple times, especially Julie, talk about all the internships we have, all the partnerships we have now in the community, how we're now working with community to find out what they want in their workforce. So really looking at that through a global lens and equity, and making sure we are providing the very best opportunities to provide our students for the future.
And also a clarification on language here, because oftentimes you've been heard the language of achievement gap. In the education research field as it is right now, that word is actually transitioning to what is known as an opportunity gap. And the reason it's known as that is because what we're finding is oftentimes it's how students come to school when they start school oftentimes, or even throughout their school career. Some of the gaps that occur because of the lack of opportunities that students have. So we are looking at this as how can we start minimizing some of those opportunity gaps in order to level that playing field for students.
Okay, the next one is operationally efficient. Maximize efficiencies of facilities. I mean, that's a pretty broad umbrella that can mean a lot of things. It can mean energy efficiency, it could mean number of facilities, it could be the efficiency of those facilities. So there's a lot of detail that's going to have to be added to a bullet point like that. The second one is the accessible and accurate budget to build trust and clearly communicate with stakeholders. As part of our last strategic plan, one of the goals in there that I had was to have our district budget be more in line with a nationally recognized budget format. I am on my way down that path, but I haven't finished it. I was about halfway through the process, so this kind of it continues to build on that. So we will continue to make the budget document that we share with the public a accessible and accurate budget, and that's very readable and consumer friendly, so to speak. And then finally, to build and use system protocols and processes to improve efficiencies. We haven't really spent a lot of time looking at what that could mean, but it could mean a variety of things that will definitely have to add much more detail like all the others.
And one of the interpretations of that also is oftentimes when you're talking about processes, Things can get lost if you don't have specific processes for a variety of different elements within the organization. That's when things break down and communication doesn't flow, mistakes happen, those kind of things. So when you have clearly defined processes, oftentimes it just gives you that way of business, as you might say, of how to do things on a regular side of a house. What we find oftentimes is that processes typically don't fail people. People will fail processes if they don't follow them. Hence why we're looking at this from a business side of house, operational side of house, on how to look at this very structured.
The next slide focuses on dedicated and high-performing team members. The first strategy is improving retention rates. That's looking at how we can retain our high-performing staff, what strategies we need to employ. Secondly, increasing diversity through recruitment strategies. And what that entails is going perhaps beyond traditional opportunities that we have sought to increase our diversity, kind of broadening our horizons in that area. Third, cultivate a culture of health and wellness, working with Ms. Schnorr, helping our employees understand the importance of taking care of themselves so that they are able to serve our students and our community. And lastly, investing in staff.
Okay, priority 4 is entitled Safe Learning and Working Environment. And under this, as we have done already in the past and will continue to do, as you may recall, we received a very large safety grant from the state. That work is ongoing and will continue to be ongoing as our EPCOT team, our safety team, continues to collaborate with our Sheriff's Department, our Police Department, and Fire departments as well, all EMS services. So this work as in the past years, has really ramped up for student safety is our utmost, one of our highest priorities, and why it's on this plan. So it's ongoing work, and there'll be probably continued work in that area as we continue to evolve our safety systems. The second one is support and enhance student mental and physical health. Matt?
Yeah, so we want to continue to build on our Rise Up program, which is our district-wide mental health initiative. So that really focuses on education, identification, and direct services. Along with that, physical health is also an area of focus. So it's not only making sure we have adequate nursing and health services for students, but really promoting wellness among our student population. The third is providing training and resources to support student behavior. So with that, we just want to make sure our staff members have what they need to adequately support the behavioral needs of all of our students.
And the last point, cultivate a culture of positive supports, relationships, and acceptance of all students. And that work has already started last month with our equity work, with each of the buildings being present, and also our teacher leader teams as well as administration. That work is already started, and that's going to be emphasis as we continue through the strategic plan.
So we all know how important it is to have community engagement for a variety of reasons, but we are proud of what we do in the schools, and we need to do a better job shouting out of all the good things we do here. I think we try to be very engaged with all community events, community partners, business people, and we're trying to leverage those partnerships. We have a lot of really good partnerships that you are aware of with hospitals, with Oshkosh Corporation or Oshkosh Truck. We also have great relationships with obviously the Chamber and many, many volunteer organizations in town, which we're proud of. Looking to also build those channels of communication, not only engaging, but again, realizing who our internal and our external stakeholders are, and really celebrating what we do well and asking for help when we need it, or engaging the community in the whole process. Also, family engagement is a big priority. We were just writing a culture and climate, a new big grant, and actually family engagement is a big part of that, starting right at 4K, welcoming them into the district, making sure it's in, a very smooth transition, and that people feel secure with their children in our schools. So back to that principle of students first, we need to leverage everyone. Oshkosh is a big place. We're proud of what we do here, and we want everyone to know. So just really strengthening, being very visible, being involved in many, many community organizations and events.
So for our next steps, what we're looking for is at the next board meeting to bring back the goals, the divisional priorities, and the market differentiators for board approval. From there, what we will do is, as an executive, as an administrative team, we're going to be going in and start defining out each of these priorities and defining them out in measurable ways as well. Those measurable ways are called key performance indicators. And those key performance indicators will help us define, okay, where are we now? Where and what is our goal, where we want to be in 5 years. Now, of course, is something, once we have that information, we bring that back to the board as well to ensure that that is something that the board is comfortable with. We're going to be looking at what we call stretch goals. So that means that it's going to be, they're going to be lofty, but they're going to be obtainable. We probably won't see like 100% in there if we're currently at 25%. So they're realistic, but something that it's going to cause us to work hard to get towards, as you might say. We'll have once we have our key performance indicators outlined at that point in time, we'll continue on with specific action steps, which will be broken down into tasks and subtasks along with lead persons tied to it and timelines. This is where we're really starting to get into the crux of the strategic plan, as you might say, because our priorities and our KPIs will allow us to monitor that and for us to provide ongoing reports to the district, but also to the board throughout the year. However, when you get into, especially at that subtask level and some of those tasks level, that is really something that, okay, what do we do this year? What do we do the following year? And what do we continue? And that's how you help your strategic plan to be a living, breathing document rather than something that's just a static file. And then ultimately we'll be looking to create a strategic plan 3.0 summary dashboard. And that's the information I was just talking about with the key KPIs. Once everything's been approved, that way at any point in time, community member wants to know how are we doing something, they can pull it up. And we'll be able to update that information throughout the year. So it will be at key points in time throughout the year, and it's dependent on which goal and which priority of that goal that people are looking at. So with that, our presentation is concluded. We are open for any comments and feedback that you may have.
Anyone have a question or a comment?
I just want to thank you for doing this. I don't suppose us rewriting our mission statement and vision helped at all right in the middle of the process, but it seems that you've incorporated that in, and I think it looks really nice, and I'm excited to see where we're going.
Agreed.
Anyone else?
I love the future ready concept because we are preparing these students for jobs that don't even exist yet, maybe. So that really caught my attention. I think that's fantastic. Thank you.
I think that, thank you. I think that I like the new part. I like the market differentiators in there. I do like that so that it's not just your goals, but it's a little bit more, I don't know what I'm looking for. It's just that one extra step. I do like the language in the market differentiators more than I do the goals, because I do love globally. I do love future. I do love equity. I do love those words. Those words mean a lot to me. I do like the goal. The goals absolutely hit what we've discussed. It hits everything that we read, all those hundreds of pages of what we read from the community and and all the different surveys we read through and went through, and I mean, it hits all of them. So I do like I'm happy. Like it's awesome. I'm so happy. Like, you know, you hand this over and you're worried, like, are they going to grasp it? Are we going to get it? Are we going to do this? I mean, you know, so I'm really happy. I think it's awesome. I'm really, really happy.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Anybody else? For me, it's, I see this as a journey to try to connect pieces that maybe on the surface seem to be separate, but really aren't. But a strategic plan with the input from the focus groups that Oshkosh for Education was so heavily involved in, and then the online feedback literally from several hundred people. The work that the board had done with Ted Knightsky from CISA 6, what's going on at the state level in terms of state government and so on, and trying to connect all these things. And I'm very impressed with how you've synthesized so many pieces in a manner which I hope is understandable to the public. If not, we can work on, through our communications means, to communicate out to the public. And it also ties in with the work that this board had done earlier this year with Cheryl Stinsky from the Wisconsin Association of School Boards on the key work of school boards. The vision, the accountability, the administration carrying out the what, which is this, which you've helped us define, and you filling in the parts with the how, and then the community engagement piece. Moving beyond a checklist, did we implement this? Yes. Or how far along are we in terms of implementation of X, Y, or Z? To what are the results? What's the impact of all of this?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that the other day in terms of Emmeline Cook School. I don't know why I was thinking of Emmeline Cook, but it's in my neighborhood. I guess that's why I was thinking about it. And thinking that the children who first went to that school in the 1950s are probably retired by now, or many of them are retired by now. But their children and grandchildren are there, and yet the Oshkosh that those children, the children of today, will know is very different from those who helped open up that school in the 1950s. And so we need to be looking ahead to the future and what that's going to mean for today's children and their children beyond that. So I'm very impressed with the work that you all have done in synthesizing many separate, what looked like separate pieces on many pieces of paper, large sheets of paper, small Post-it notes, data from online and so on a computer screen. So I think it sounds like this is something that the board can support. So I'm very pleased with the work you've done. Thank you. All right, then I would expect this will come back at our next meeting, which will be August 14th, I believe. Mm-hmm. That's the second Wednesday in August for us to vote on. So we'll go from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we will move on to the consent resolution agenda. For the consent agenda, the board has been furnished with background materials on each item or has discussed it at a previous meeting. These will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member wants to discuss any item, it will be pulled out of the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. So far, I've received information about the interest in pulling 4B and 4C. Are there any other items that you would like to pull off of the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, the board will consider approval of 1, minutes of the June 26, 2019 regular board meeting. 2, minutes of June 26, 2019 executive session at regular board meeting. Number 3, bills payable. Number 4, personnel. A, appointments, resignations, and salary schedule. Number 5, student academic standards requirement and assessment update. Number 6, phonics adoption for the units of study, phonics. And number 7, addition of hearing officer for the 2018-2019 school year.
So moved. Second.
Please call the roll.
Garner.
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog.
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Olmsted.
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel.
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Szilagyi.
Aye.
Szilagyi, aye. Carlin.
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans.
Aye.
Evans, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Resolution, too much paper up here, speaking of paper. Resolution 4C. Be it resolved that the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education, I'm sorry, 4B. approve the retirement as filed with the Secretary to the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Once again, we have a bittersweet moment because we say goodbye to a longtime employee, but certainly wish her the best in her decision to explore the next stage of life, defined as retirement, and that would be Nancy Merrill, who has served as a cook helper at both the middle school and high school level. She's retiring from Oshkosh North High School, and she's been with the district for roughly 22 years. So we wish Nancy all the best in her retirement. Any other comments? Please call the roll.
Herzog?
Yes. Aye.
Herzog, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel?
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Szilagyi?
Aye.
Szilagyi, aye. Carlin?
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. Resolution 4C, be it resolved that the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education approve the administrative appointments and salary schedule as filed with the Secretary to the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
If I may, Dr. Herzog?
Absolutely.
I would love to give you some information and introduce our two candidates that I'm very proud to be introducing and recommending to you tonight. First is going to be Scott Van Ness. Scott is going to, we are making the recommendation for Scott to take over Reed Elementary School. And Scott currently serves as an assistant principal at Wapaka School District. He's been an assistant principal since 2016. Prior to that, he was a PBIS coordinator, and before that, his true passion, where he taught elementary school. And so, and during his interview, one of the things that he said so well is that I really enjoy working with older children, but my passion are just with elementary age kids. And he definitely came across with that passion. I'm very, very pleased to recommend him to you. One of the things that we were very quickly able to determine is the level of Scott's commitment, because he's already been talking with us, trying to get ahead of time. You know, we're like, no, it's got to be board approved. And he's like, I know I have to be board approved first, but I just want to make sure I'm being proactive. And his proactivity is developing relationships and getting to know people and really trying to set that stage. So he has a very strong background in obviously academics as well as with behavior. So if I may, if he would like to, if it's okay with you.
Of course.
All right. Scott.
Hello, I'm Scott Van Ness. As Dr. Cartwright pretty much nailed it, I have a deep passion for being in an elementary school and helping kids to get to that next level in their life. And I think that this is just a great fit for me because I know you all believe strongly in community and partnering with schools, and that's who I am at my core. So glad to be here.
And board, we'd like to tell you, we had two very rigorous rounds of interviews to get to our two finalists tonight for your approval. That included staff members, office staff members as well, secretaries, as well as parents, and then a second round interview with the entire executive team. So a very rigorous process, and we're very pleased to have both candidates come before you. So we're very excited with the opportunities. So.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Jones.
you. Thank you.
Dr. Jones.
And at this time, I'm going to invite Tanya Fenner to come up. And Tanya comes to us from New Holstein Elementary School. She currently is she was elementary school principal. She's been there since 2013, looking for an opportunity to come to a larger district. And so we're very pleased to have her. In addition to her elementary school experience and her elementary school principal experience, she served as an EBD teacher at the elementary and middle school level. So going to Merrill School, where there's a combination over there, she is truly a good fit because she's going to understand what's going on the middle school side of house. Likewise, has a deep understanding of the needs of elementary school age children. Obviously, she has a lot of experience dealing with maybe some children who are struggling with maybe some behaviors and those kind of things, but she knows how to get to the heart of that. And given the populations that she has worked with intimately in the past, she has worked with highly diverse populations as well, which is worth notating for you. So she has, in addition to that side, of course, is the academic side. She has been one of the key people within her district currently, as well as previously, her previous district, to bring forward some of the Danielson type things that needed to occur, as well as really getting a better understanding of that continuous school improvement cycle and how does that occur, and bringing people along with that. So that's just a little bit about her, but I'm going to let her now tell you a little about herself.
Thank you, Dr. Cartwright. Welcome, thank you for having me. I'm very, very excited to start working for the Oshkosh Area School District. Like she had stated before, I've worked in special ed. I worked for 14 years, half in elementary and half in middle. And all with students with emotional behavioral disabilities or kiddos on the autism spectrum. And so I'm just very excited to bring my skill set to Merrill. I can't wait to meet the staff and the students and the families, and just get into the building and start working with everyone. So it'll be great. So thank you.
And just a reminder, with the Merrill position, Sarah Poquette was accepted the job at our middle school at Perry Tipler. So as we have not lost Sarah, Sarah has moved up to the middle level. So that's why this opening was available. But with that, we'd ask your vote and approval for these two candidates to be part of our district.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Welcome to Oshkosh. We're excited to have you, so thank you for choosing our district. It's exciting.
Pending how the vote goes.
Yeah, depending. We'll see how it happens. We'll see how this goes down.
Mr. Evans. Well put, Mr. Evans.
Yeah.
Well put, Mr. Evans. All right, please call the roll.
Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel?
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Szilagyi?
Aye.
Szilagyi, aye. Carlin?
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Motion carried.
A warm welcome. Welcome.
All right, moving on to the rest of our agenda then. I don't believe we have any individually considered resolutions this evening. Are there any requests for future agenda items? Seeing none, are there any announcements tonight? I just wanted to give a shout out to E. Cook and the teachers over there who are providing the Books on Wheels program there this summer on four Tuesday afternoons. I was able to join them yesterday, and it was wonderful to see the 40-some children who showed up to play board games or to read or to be read to, and the opportunity to take books home to read. In fact, there were two little boys when we were on the corner at Greenwood and I think it's Evans, who took their books home, ran across the street after they looked both ways, read their books, came back with the books and said, "We finished these already. Can we trade these in for new books?" So it was really cool. So next Tuesday, July 16th, will be the final Books on Wheels for E. Cook, and that will be at noon to 1 at the E. Cook site, and then they move up to Greenwood and Evans from 1:15 to 2:15. So if you're from that area, even if you're not from that area, I think you don't have to show an ID. You can come and get some books and have some fun with a group of very dedicated teachers who were there yesterday, and I'm sure we'll be back again next week. Any other announcements? All right, then we will be adjourning to executive session to 1, consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility under Wisconsin Statute 19.85, paren 1, paren C, a superintendent evaluation. 2, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session under Wisconsin Statute 19.85, paren 1, paren E. A, Cobeson transportation contract, and B, property transfer. 3, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session under Wisconsin Statute 19.85, parent 1, parent E. A, Oshkosh Education Association, OEA, negotiation strategies. B, Oshkosh Paraprofessional Employee Association, OPEA, negotiation strategies. And C, Non-Teaching Employee Association, NTEA, negotiation strategies.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Heschel.
Aye.
Heschel, aye. Salaji.
Aye.
Salaji, aye. Carlin.
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans.
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner.
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog.
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Olmsted.
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Motion carried.
This meeting is adjourned to executive session.